Over 2 weeks ago, US President Donald Trump announced on Twitter that he'd be withdrawing American troops from Syria. On Tuesday, his national security advisor John Bolton arrived in Ankara for meetings with senior Turkish officials about how and when that withdrawal will take place. A day earlier, Bolton was in Israel meeting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, where he assured him that the withdrawal would not impact negatively on Kurdish groups inside Syria. To that, Turkey's president had this to say.
Bolton has made a serious mistake, and whoever thinks like this has also made a mistake. It is not possible for us to make compromises on this point. Those who are part of the terror corridor in Syria will receive the necessary lesson. There is no difference between the PKK, the YPG, the PYD and ISIL. We are determined to take steps against these terrorist organizations. We will mobilize to neutralize them in Syrian lands very soon.
As far as Turkey is concerned, the YPG, a Kurdish militia inside Syria, is an extension of the PKK, which Ankara considers a terrorist group for its attacks inside Turkey and the killing of its citizens. The US, however, has armed and funded the YPG in recent years under the pretext of fighting ISIL. Critics of the withdrawal say Washington would look bad if it were seen to be abandoning its partners. But Turkey points to the fact that it is a NATO member and a US ally, and insists America must decide whether it wants to stand by its allies or side with a terrorist organization. More than 2 years of Turkish military intervention inside Syria has resulted in huge setbacks for ISIL, which has lost territory to the Turks and their Syrian rebel allies in Al-Bab, Jarablus and other areas. But Turkey says the fight against so-called terrorism should not be exclusive to combating ISIL, but include all groups regardless of their ethnicity or religion.
The Syrian land must be cleared of all terrorists, including the border area, regardless of what kind of terrorists they are. And the people who live in Syria, regardless of their ethnic origins, must be protected and made safe from terrorist persecution and attacks.
John Bolton's team described Tuesday's meetings as constructive. However, the reality is that there is still a lot of work that needs to be done before a deal can be reached. The fact that a planned joint press conference was cancelled in the 11th hour is testament to the disagreements that remain. But before a deal can be reached between the United States and Turkey, it would seem that the American government needs to agree amongst itself about what it wants to do in Syria. Jamal Shayyal, Al Jazeera, Ankara.